Thanks for tuning into the BoshNRoll channel. Liking and subscribing the channel is free and easy, and it helps me out a lot. If you want to go a little farther with your support, I have Patreon and YouTube membership available, which includes access to the BoshNRoll Discord server, early access to things I'm working on, sideboard plans, cards I'm buying. You could have me play your deck on the channel, and the highest tiers come with individual coaching sessions. If you use the YouTube membership option, you get sweet, unique YouTube badges and emotes for the channel. If you want to play what I'm playing, you can use the code BoshNRoll to support my channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com. And if you're playing on Magic Online, a cardhoarder.com loan account can let you play any deck anytime. If you want to wear your support, there is BoshNRoll merch available. All of these links are in the video description below. Thank you so much for watching. Now let's go play some Magic. Welcome to another BoshNRoll video. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Robert, I am playing his Yorion taxes list in Modern. This is Robert's main deck. This is what he plays at FNMs and stuff, and he has asked me to take it for a spin on the channel. I have some experience playing Death and Taxes in Modern. I won the Star City Invitational with a very different, much older version of this deck. And I have played it a couple times on the channel since the advent of Stoneforge Mystic, since it was unbanned and Giver of Runes was printed. I have tried it. I don't think I've done a Yorion version of Mono White. I did a Yorion version of Red White that was actually pretty sick with Imperial Recruiter. But this version with Solitude and Ephemerate, this is my first spin with something like this. And I'm pretty excited to try it out. The name of the game with Death and Taxes is Control. Like, you see all these one-drop white creatures, white weenies. It looks like a white weenie deck, but Death and Taxes is a control deck. Don't let it fool you. It's trying to slow the game down to the point where your opponent has no options, and then just kill them with whatever scraps are left over, usually a Flickerwisp holding a Sword of Fire and Ice or something similar. This build has a pretty significant blink theme built in with the Ephemerates, Flickerwisps, and Yorion and Charming Prince. Like, there, you could get your permanents jumping in and out of play pretty regularly here and gain some pretty significant advantage over time in that fashion. And of course, there is the potential of just turn 1 Giver of Runes, turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic for Cauldra, and you're off to the races. So the deck can go fast, the deck can go slow. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, is an eternal staple ever since Dark Ascension came out. And she continues to impress here. Looking at the list, just right off the top of my head, Cave of the Frost Dragon, I'm going to have my eye on this one. Normally, a deck like this wants all its lands to come into play untapped. Like, one of the benefits of playing mono white is you get this untapped, pain-free mana base. And Cave of the Frost Dragon coming into play tapped versus paying 5 mana to get a 3/4 creature. Let's see how that pans out. I could see how a 3/4 flying would be insane in the mid-game and late game for this deck, and getting extra value out of your lands is important. Almost every land in this deck is doing something other than tapping for mana, like making a creature uncounterable, saves your Thalia, kills a land, draws a card, draws a card. There's 10 basic planes out of the 28 lands, and only those 10 basic planes only tap for mana. But Cave of the Frost Dragon, let's keep an eye on how often it comes into play tap versus how often it's attacking as a 3/4 flying. The sideboard is full of hammers, pretty much. Sanctifier, this card is insane from Modern Horizons 2. Just knocks Luris decks into the Stone Age. Also, anything like Dredge or Living End that we might play against just crushes those. Also just has pro red. You can bring it in against Burn, it'll sit and play and block their creatures. Good stuff. 3 Katakis in this deck is pretty heavy. This must be a response to Urza's Saga and the Saga decks, Hammer Time, that kind of thing. I'm just going to go with Robert's list. I'm not going to second guess these choices. Drannith Magistrate is mostly for Cascade decks. Robert did say that this is kind of a flex slot. He mentioned Emrakul as an option if Mill is part of your metagame, but I'm not going to play a card for Mill in a 5-round Moto League with an 80-card deck. So I'm going to ignore that, but if it's part of your metagame, that's something you can do. And Chalice of the Void is just additional for Cascade. Void Mirror is good for Cascade, also Tron. So we got some just potent, powerful, only the heaviest bangers in sideboard history exist in this sideboard, plus the Yorion. And that's the deck. Let's go play it. Right off the bat, we've got ourselves a Pokemon battle. Lurrus versus Yorion. Welcome to Modern. I'm going to keep my hand with 2 Aether Vials in it. In an 80 card deck, you see Vial less often in your opener, but it doesn't really need to be in the opener because the game is going to take a long time. But when you do have them, roll with it. I'm leading on Ghost Quarter, which shows them that I have Ghost Quarter, which could be dangerous. But, oh, a Vile Mirror. I'm a little surprised to see that. Am I just supposed to name Human in the blind off Cavern? Or do I wait and name Elemental? Okay, now I have 2 Elementals in the hand. Let me check the creature type distribution in this deck. We got Human, Core, Human, Human, Core, Human, Wall, Archon, Elemental, Core, Elemental. Yeah, this is actually pretty tricky to know what to name with this early Cavern. I think I'm going to name Elemental, though. Though, if I draw any... Wow, this sucks, actually. I'm going to name Elemental. I am hoping that the Vials do most of the heavy lifting here. I'm not going to Ghost Quarter this island. I suspect we're playing against Merfolk or Spirits. Just trying to think of what deck would have Aether Vial and Lurrus. My bet is Merfolk. Because the Spirits want things like Supreme Phantom's a 2-drop, the Spell Queller, etc. Okay. They revealed Lord of Atlantis. They are some sort of Merfolk something or other. Okay. I'm not going to Ghost Quarter them. I don't think I'll be able to take them off a color. And if I draw a land now, I can actually start casting spells or put Yorion in my hand, what have you. Dope. Aganjo Castle. I'm going to play Archon. This card is really good. There's nothing to really Flickerwisp yet. I could set their Vial back to 0, but I could do that next turn also, or I could Vial in Flickerwisp next turn and like mess with combat. Like there's a lot to like if I just wait. Yeah, Archon already doing the Lord's work. Seacrum Coast coming into play tapped. And now it's a race to get these Vials up to 5. Got Vials on 2 and 3. Sunbaked Canyon's pretty sick. I think I just want to drop Yorion into my hand though. And I'm going to attack with Archon. Let's do it. I can Vial it back in if they have the like bounce a tapped creature Merfolk. I can Vial in Flickerwisp to mess with combat next turn. Is this the Lord of Atlantis? It is. Them being a Lurrus deck gives me a lot of information about what they could want to Vial. Like this thing's going to be on 2 forever. Unless they put it up to 3 to get Lurrus in their hand. Which I don't think is going to happen. No attacks. They respect the Vial. I am going to Vial in Flickerwisp and mess with their Vial at this point. Resetting that for a couple turns. Pretty effective. Oh, they're just conceding to that. Awesome. Yeah, the Merfolk deck is pretty reliant on the Lords actually giving Island Walk. And while I respect Thalia being a disruptive piece, this not being a Merfolk, not being evasive, it also just doesn't affect my deck because I'm playing Thalia. Not great for them. The bad news is I don't have a whole lot of sideboard here. Like, Drannith Magistrate, they are a Lurrus deck, so Drannith can turn off Lurrus because they can't cast spells from their graveyard as like a super late game option, which I think is fine because my deck contains these Thalia Guardian of the Ravens that I don't need 4 of for this particular matchup. I don't want Rest in Peace. Like, it also turns off Lurrus, but it's in a way that doesn't impact the board. And Magistrate's at least a 1/3 when it's not doing anything else. I think this is all I'm going to do. This matchup's already looks pretty positive. I'm a deck full of creatures with no islands and lots of removal. And they're trying to punch through on islands with their deck full of creatures. This hand is not a keeper. The Cauldron is basically already a mulligan, and there's no mana to cast my spells. Double Solitude could buy me a lot of time against Merfolk, but I need something to support it. So I'm going to ship this one. This needs a land pretty desperately. There's 27 lands in my 73 card deck, which is less than 50-50. Not even actually, like, it's closer to 1 out of 3. And I have 2 draw steps. If I get there, I'm there because Charming Prince, Wall, like they all... Alright, I'm going to keep this for science. I'm going to ship Drannith Magistrate. I think that's the worst card in this hand by a lot. Even though it's a sideboard card, I just don't think it's that effective. I mean, Thalia, I could see an argument for Thalia, but she has First Strike. I don't have islands. Like, controlling their merfolk matters a lot. Okay, I'm looking for a land or an Aether Vial here. Stoneforge Mystic, okay. This hand's also mega susceptible to Tideshaper or Spreading Seas if they have things that turn things into islands. I have to assume they have Tideshaper in their deck. Spreading Seas might be a little bit of a stretch. Ouch, yeah, they just revealed Tideshaper. Oh, but they went with Thalia. That seems like a mistake. Okay. Please, deck, help me out here. They gave me the window. Shit. I deserve this. So they will almost certainly shape the tide this turn. Attacking with Thalia. There's the Tideshaper with Kicker. That turns my Horizon Canopy into an island, which means it only taps for blue. Alright, now's the time. Last chance. Got there easily. Always had it. Alright, human or core? I think it's got to be human, because that can... Yeah. Human. I'm going to cast Charming Prince. I need to scry into more lands. Scry to our Commando. That is a human. Ghost Quarter can become a white source if I need it to. It's not pretty, but it is a land. Okay, bottom, top. A Ghost Quarter can hit my Horizon Canopy, which turns it into a Plains, which means I don't control an island anymore. And that can happen mid-combat. Filed in a Lord. They got 3 cards left in their hand, plus the Waterlogged Grove. So they have gas in the tank. Probably a second Lord coming in right now. Make sure the attack's huge. Yeah. 3, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to 9 right now. I'm not going to block Thalia. I can't block the other things. I'm going to cast Thalia with my lands that can cast spells. I have to hope they mess this up somehow. It would be hard to mess this up. Their creatures are just bigger than mine, even without Island Walk at this point. And they just cashed in all their lands for 2 extra cards. Brutal. I think the only thing that could save me here was Solitude, and I just don't have it. Vial again. This is another Lord. Oof. My only hope here is that they outsmart themselves. Like if they try to play around Solitude somehow and just don't make a lethal attack. But I expect their creatures are just going to turn sideways. Alright, yeah, it's jamming all their shit sideways. If I do the Ghost Quarter thing, this becomes a 4/4. I can trade with Thalia, block something, and I get another turn. Might as well do it. Maybe I'll draw Solitude. I don't know. Alright, block. Trade off Thalia's, chump block. They're all the same size. Yeah, they're all 4/4s. I end up going to 1 here. If I'm no good. Okay. I was just trying to think of, I don't think there was a sequence of draws there. Like, even with the Wall of Omens, I don't think there were 2 cards. I guess, like, Solitude, I still die. Yeah. There was no sequence of draws there. Okay, so, don't count on the deck to find more lands. Yeah, don't keep 1-landers. Is the message I just received. Yeah, back in with the same deck. As good as it gets. A little Solitude Ephemerate action would be pretty nice here against this creature deck. My hand has 4 lands in it. Snap keep all day. No Vial. I do have Stoneforge Mystic. We can try to get to work there. I'm gonna lead on my basic planes, save my techie lands for later in case they decide to shape one of them. No Vial. Wow. That's weird. Stoneforge Mystic, get in there. Do I want to just ranch with Kaldra? Do I want to try to set up a Sword of Fire and Ice, which basically checkmates their whole deck? I think I want Sword. Does blue if there's one thing blue's pretty good at, it's tapping and bouncing creatures, which is one of the few ways to answer a Kaldra. I do have the Ephemerate if I ever find Solitude. Thalia, okie dokie. Ooh, Archon's sweet. I was gonna cast something different, but Archon is a flyer. It messes with their ability to do stuff. Right. I'm playing Archon here. I'm saving the sword till next turn when I can Stoneforge it in and equip it immediately, and I want to get a creature into play that can wield it effectively this turn. I was going to play Charming Prince, but since I drew the 3-drop, it's go time. Tideshaper probably hitting my Castle Ardenvale. Tideshaper probably not surviving this turn cycle. They can't dismember, they can't... Like, there's a lot of stuff they can't do because of their own Thalia right now. Right, activate Stoneforge. Put in sword. Equip sword. And let's get to work. Conceded on the spot. That's what I'm talking about. Next round. I'm on the draw in round 2. Obviously going to mulligan this no-lander. My opponent does not have a companion, which smells like Delver to me. I'm going to keep this, and I can keep Cave because I have it early enough. So, first showing of Cave is a good one. A Scalding Tarn. I'm shocked. Ooh, now I'm a little shocked by that. Is this Infect? What are you doing? Oh, it's Cascade, sure. They just slow motion suspended their first Rhino. That's what's going on here. Archon is good against the suspend part of the... Oh my god. The Cascade part of the deck. It doesn't really line up against the suspend part. But here's the Stoneforge backed by Giver. Oh, JK. Maybe not. Alright, so they can put this thing on the top or bottom of my deck. Where do I actually want it? It's one of my best cards. I'll keep it on top. They're fetching here. I'm going to attack with my Giver. It can't protect itself anyway, so might as well get rowdy. They have one card left. Let's hope it's not a Shardless Agent, though. I guess they would need Land and Agent, which they just peeled one or the other off the top. Great. Great! If that waited one turn, I would have had Archon to control it. But now I am priced into Stoneforge. Giver and Stoneforge. What is the play? It's probably just Kaldra on defense. Batterskull's pretty cool, but I don't really have the mana to jump it around. Yeah, I'm just going to have a defense Kaldra. It's embarrassing, but I'm in. They are hellbent over there. I'm going to block a Rhino with one of my Givers. Blocking the 2/2 without trample is the same as blocking the 4/4 with trample. This did just open me up to Stomp or something on my Stoneforge, but they're top decking. I'm gonna maximize my plays here. Field of Ruin. I can ruin their Ketria Triome and then also activate Stoneforge. I'm gonna do it on their turn. Maybe that's worse because now they can like Cryptic Command or some shit. Yeah, that was probably much worse. Should have done it on my own turn. If I get Cryptic Commanded here, I deserve it so bad. Second Rhino has arrived. Eventually these Rhinos will be able to just outswarm my Kaldra. But they don't have haste, so an attack here would be pretty reckless. Seems my opponent agrees. Put Kaldra into play. Cavern isn't helpful right now. Castle Ardenvale. I'm going to get Archon into play. Yeah, Archon means that this Footfalls is their only spell for the turn, even if they did draw something. They attack right now. They lose a Rhino outright. I can absorb some of it with blockers. Next turn, their attack is looking pretty deadly. Come on, Solitude. Ooh. This set needs create 2 White Angel Warrior creature tokens with flying. This costs 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 short. Damn. Okay, I'm going to name Elemental. Named Elemental with that. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think I'm going to put Yorion in my hand because I want them thinking about Solitude. I guess they can't play around it, so they're just going to ram their Rhinos in. So many Rhinos. They left one back. Uh-oh. They said oh no in the chat. Does that mean they misclicked? I think the dragon will be a better blocker than the 1/1. Tap target permanent, draw a card. Okay, that's pretty good. All right. So I get this tapped 3/4 flying dragon for the turn. Block here, block here. This is still a minute only. This is 4 rhinos. I need to block. I'm currently taking 10. I need to use the givers to save other things. Save Stoneforge Mystic. Pro green. I'm gonna save giver with different giver. Pro green, and I lose a giver here. Hope I counted right. I think I'm taking 10 here. Yeah, that miss. What looks like a misclick. That lethal rhino hanging out back there. Wowie. All right, who's the token deck now? Bango. This gives my other creatures indestructible until the next turn. Is this enough? Cauldra, 1, 2. I don't think that's enough. I'm still dead. Bummer. Oh, and they have a spell. All right, yeah, they can just deal 2 to me. You got it. All right. Yeah, the turn where we lost that game was when they had 1 card in hand and then untapped and drew either the land for Shardless Agent or the Shardless Agent for turn. If I could get a Myriad, Archon of Emiria down before that, we would have done it. Oh well. Also, a Solitude changes that game completely. Bringing in these 6 cards that are all for Cascade spells. Thalia is pretty good in this matchup. All of Omens, medium. Sort of Fire and Ice actually looks kind of bad. Flying and First Strike are relevant. Skyclave Apparition is non-token permanent. Yeah, non-land, non-token. Not the most thrilling. Cathar Commando. Yeah, they're not gonna Blood Moon me. Vial is good. Being able to flicker things is good. I think Skyclave Apparition looks pretty medium. Flickerwisp is the Skyclave Apparition that Skyclave Apparition wishes it was. Just doing a quick check, making sure these cards are the cards that I want in the deck. Yeah, looks good. This hand's really good. I'm going to keep it. I have Esper Sentinel into multiple Hate Bears. They have the Gemstone Cavern. All right. Sentinel. Let's play. Aganjo Castle. I like leading on that. Do I like Thalia or Draneth Magistrate better? They both stop a Cascade next turn. And Thalia stops even more. Yeah, I'm going in with Thalia. Nice. Oh, this gets fire iced into the fucking sun, though. Whoops. I did not consider that until it was too late. Yep, 3rd land. I at least draw a card if that's what's happening to me here. Yuck. I deserve that. Okay, 2 for 1. Well, I drew a card off the Esper Sentinel, so I got a card back off of it. Not as bad as it could have been. I think I want to play Field of Ruin and Draneth off of the field. Because now Thalia, they're untapping into their 4th land where Thalia doesn't stop Cascade anymore. I don't know how many basics these decks actually play. There's 2 in play already. Tapping my castle. If I Field of Ruin them now, I can still cast Thalia. Start working through the basics, however many they have. Ooh, Chalice. Fuck yeah. Another Field of Ruin. Chalice on 0. Now they have 2 hate pieces to work through. And Thalia to keep the beats coming. They can't hard cast Subtlety here, which is, I guess, the last thing I'd be worried about at this point. I'm pretty firmly not getting Rhinoed for a while. Subtlety is a 3/3 with Flash that I have to watch out for. Oh, damn. Prismari Command so good. They can't play Lightning Bolt. Can suspend a Crashing Football. So they have a plan here to remove my Draneth Magistrate. Splat. Okay, how do I want to play this? I want to field their red source I want to sniff out how many basics they have for game 3. They do have another one. Ghost Quarter. You have another one. It looks like they're out of red, which is great for me because here comes Chalice of the Void. And there is a Footfalls ticking down here, so they're highly incentivized to answer this Chalice. I played out the Chalice now. Like, I considered the option of waiting until Footfalls was about to come off suspend, but then decided that I think it's better to have it in play now in case they like Brazen Borrower, untap, and Shardless Agent. I'm not going to attack into Subtlety. Not until I can back it up with a hardcast Solitude anyway. Giver, that's a good one. And I'm not going to Flickerwisp yet. In case they get a Rhino into play, that answers one of them. Petty Theft. Okay, and that's what I was talking about with the having 2 answers. They do have Brazen Borrower there. It looks like they popped it a turn early, but I guess they still need to answer Draneth before they can do anything. Okay, that answers Draneth. Luckily, this can't get both. I have 5 toughness in play. Not a legend, huh? Bummer. Okay. Confirmed, not a legend. They're going to cascade into some rhinos this turn. I have Flickerwisp and Solitude to clear them out eventually. They have 1 card left in their hand. Solitude rules. Here's my Chalice on 0. Here's my Flickerwisp. Chuck one of these rhinos into the sun. And they know I have Yorion in my hand. If I get my 5th land, I can really get busy. Let's hope they can't bounce Chalice again in their upkeep to counter this. No Brazen Borrower. No Brazen Borrower. Stop! Killing me, Smalls. Okay. We're going to have to beat some rhinos after all. Alright, time to draw that 5th land deck. Suspect just the rhino will attack. Oh, they want Shardless Agent in there too. Alright, I'll block the one that doesn't have trample, and I can actually kill. I'm going to commit my Giver. If they have a spell, they have a spell. Like, whatever. Okay, that's dead. You got it. Alright, land, please. Ugh. Alright, way too late to the party, Archon of Emeria. I can pitch Archon to Solitude one of these things. We appear to be getting just like shit bricked left and right though. Opponent's stuff lined up perfectly, ours lined up poorly. If I put Archon into play now, that denies me any double Solitude lines. I think I want a Solitude now. Pitching Archon. Get rid of one of these rhinos right now while I know they don't have Cryptic Command in their hand. The way they've been running, they're going to have it next turn for sure. Taking 10 here. Oh, they left one back. That one appeared to be on purpose. They have Brazen Bee. Still waiting. Really need this land. Well, there it is. As ordained, so it shall be. This ETB tapped land when I desperately need it to not do that. And I can pitch Yorion to Solitude, and I still take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 8, 9, 10. Yep, I'm going to lose because that land is Cave of the Frost Dragon. There's Brazen Bee. Guess I have to cast the Solitude pitch mode or else I'm literally dead. That sucked. Hey, remember when I said they're going to draw Cryptic Command? All right. This opponent had our number, and our deck did not really cooperate either. One big strike against Cave of the Frost Dragon already. We're about halfway through the video, so let me just remind you that if you like this deck and you want to try it out, you can use the code BoshNRoll to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com, and you can play any deck anytime with cardhoarder.com loan account on Magic Online. These links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the draw in round 3. This is a hand that can't cast its spells. I'm going to mulligan it. This one can be kept on the strength of Aether Vial. Let's just hope that the Vial resolves and stays in play. This deck is kind of built with Aether Vial as a mana-based consideration, and I'm going to have to lean into it here. Don't really have another option. Here's a Saga. All right, this Ghost Quarter's looking pretty good here. I'm going to lead on Field of Ruin, play my Vial. The decks that would lead on just turn 1 Urza Saga go, like with no plan to get up into Construct Zone would be Hammer Time or Amulet. This is looking like Amulet now. Yeah, the game plan here is to get up into Archon Zone on the Vial. Pair of Ghost Quarters should help that issue. Trying to think if it matters if I Ghost Quarter now or on their upkeep. They get an extra colorless now. I don't know. I'm going to do it on their upkeep. I'm going to hit it, though, because I don't want them to be able to tutor up their Amulet. They clearly kept this hand with a plan of put this card into play on turn 3. If they can use this mana, I hope not. Alright, they didn't. Good news. I can also Solitude a Primeval Titan if it shows up, which is pretty nice. Dryad of the Elysian Grove. I can kill that too. They picked up their Slayer Stronghold. They can make 2 land drops next turn. Yes. Plains is exactly what I wanted here. I think Amulet usually runs 3 basics, but Plains is what I wanted here. Now I have the choice of I can just Solitude this thing now, or I can wait and Solitude the Dryad and the Prime Time. They get a bunch of lands out of the deal. I think I'm going to go for max value because I'm a greed monster. First land, second land. Oh, there's the 3rd basic. It was in their hand. Probably could have gotten away with a really nice Ghost Quarter there. Okay, here's the Prime Time. We knew this was coming. I'm going to let them search for their lands first, so they don't necessarily know what they need to do. Like if they just get 2 Valakuts here, I get to blow them out. But if I Solitude first, they'll just like get 2 Urza Sagas and bury me that way. But instead, here we are, 2 Valakuts. Sign me up. Solitude. Bitch, Skyclave Apparition. Gonna exile the Dryad first. It doesn't matter, but Dryad first. Then Ephemerate. Take out the Prime Time. Investing in the future here. Now these 4 triggers will fizzle because they have no mountains. Vial goes up to 3. I'm not going to rebound. Doesn't matter. I'd like to attack. Vial. Yeah, that was a good find. Ghost Quarter. I'm going to attack, and then I'm going to Field of Ruin their Sanctuary, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They still have 6 mana. I can take them off 2 mana by hitting the Sanctuary. The awkward part is if they have a second Dryad basically at any point, the Valakuts are right back on. Oh, they have 4. Okay, they have 4 basics. Glad I didn't go for the Ghost Quarter last turn. I'm all in here. They can't tutor for Dryad this turn because of the Archon. They would have to just have it straight up. But if they do go Dryad land drop, my board's gone. Another Prime Time. Oof. Yeah, I'm running out of juice here. Selesnya Sanctuary and Crumbling Vestige. And maybe I should have committed to removing the Valakuts from play. Does that matter? I mean, was I going to beat a Prime Time anyway? Unclear. They played 2 Crumbling Vestiges. Oh, right. They get to fire off their Stronghold right now. Jeez. This deck's so good. Fucking Amulet. You'd think Archon of Emeria would do anything against the lands deck, but it doesn't. Just, yeah, here's all my creatures. Or all my shit anyway. Attacking you for 8 with Prime Time, getting 2 triggers. What do I even draw here? What am I looking for? Do I have a single card answer to Prime Time? Wall of Omens. I mean, I'm sure that's not it. I have to survive another turn and then Vial in Yorion. Gonna Wall of Omens. Found a land drop. And might as well attack with my flyer. Okay, I'm holding up Ghost Quarter for a turn. Next turn, I can put Yorion in hand and then Vial it in, Flickering Solitude, removing Prime Time. They have to have Dryad straight up in their hand because of Archon. They can't tutor for it. They could just get another Prime Time and keep the 6/6 train rolling, but they can't tutor for and cast the same thing anyway. They tanked pretty long on that Thalia West as if they forgot about Archon. Alright, that's your spell for the turn. That's a pretty good spell, though. That can give Prime Time double strike if they want it to. Here comes the Titan. Holding up Ghost Quarter. I can deny them Double Strike if I want to do that. My best draw this turn is probably something like Charming Prince or Stoneforge Mystic, like a 2-drop that flickers for value, because I'm going to have Vial on 2 and 5. Okay, they got the Boros Garrison, but they don't have the Double Strike land in play, so I don't need to respond to that. Up to Thalia West. I'm going to take my 6 here. Summoner's Pact is an instant, so they can pact in my end step and then untap and get me with something. Or untap, pay for it, cast their second spell. Okay, I drew a land for the turn. Attack with my 2 creatures. Gain 3 life off of Solitude. Maybe I'm supposed to wish Yorion into my hand before I attack, just in case this goes awry, but I don't know how it would. Plains. Yorion into hand. Vial and Yorion in my main phase. Flicker all of my creatures. Basically just gives the Archon Vigilance. Solitude, Exile, Primetime, Wall of Omens, draw a card. I think Solitude's interesting if I get another turn. Ghost Quarter should help with that situation. Oh wow, they didn't Summoner's Pact in the end step. I think they needed to pact for Dryad and then untap and roast me. Yeah, like I'm just dead to a bounce land if they Summoner's Pacted in the end step, which they either forgot to do or didn't do. If I untap again with my Vial on 5 and Solitude, I can roast the Dryad. So this is the critical turn, and I think they just messed up. Unless they have a different plan, of course. I guess I could also just GQ a Valakut in response to Dryad, even if they do get one into play this turn. And then I would only take 6 instead of 12. But if they do just have Dryad straight up, they could roast the Archon first, then cast Primetime. Yikes, Explosives on 3. That also plays. Okay. That kills my Archon. Only my Archon, mercifully. But now they can pact for Primeval Titan or Dryad or whatever. There's the pact for Dryad. Gonna roast a Valakut in response. Gotta be out of basics, right? Nope, 5. Okay. We are not screwing this opponent off of basics. Okay, there's 3 damage on my Solitude. They're not going face, which is a good sign. They have a fetch land. Okay, so they're killing Yorion with their fetch land. 2 cards left in their hand. I hope one of them's not Primeval Titan. Fetch land got Breeding Pool. Yorion's gone. They can give this thing haste and attack for 4. I kind of hope they do that. Oh, they can do that and Primetime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They could Primetime and give it haste. Oh, they had another West. Yeah, okay. I'm dead to Primetime right now. Yeah, 1 turn away. Or 1 white card away. If I could have killed the Dryad here, I think we win the game. It depends on if they have another Valakut in the deck. Do they play 3 or 4? Or is it like 2 just to get with the Primetimes? Alright, Vesuva, that works. So they copy Valakut, untaps these 2 things. I'm just dead. Alright. Okay. 1 white card or 1 turn short of being stable there. Okay, what do I do against this deck? There is no sideboard here for this deck. I guess Chalice can turn off the zeros, but that's all I can do. Maul of the Skyclaves doesn't seem particularly important. +2/+2 flying first strike, yeah, whatever. Ephemerate Solitude seems like the core of my plan here, so I should stick with that. Focus on that. I like Wall of Omens. Thalia's medium. Apparition seems good. Yeah, like getting Vial onto 3 seems pretty important here. That was pretty impressive. Solitude Ephemerated their 2 best things. I made the game long enough for Yorion to come in off Vial, Solitude another thing, draw another card, and it just wasn't good enough. Died immediately on the next turn. Okay, I have 3 lands. These count. I'm gonna keep this. And I'm gonna use the basic for Giver. Do I want to Chalice on 1 next turn, or do I want to Chalice on 0 now? They're not gonna cast a spell. Yeah, they're not going to pact right now. I can save that for later. I had the amulet right away. You got it. Ghost Quarter. I'm going to want that eventually. I pay 3 for the Emeria. And I think I want Wall of Omens to start. Just want to get deeper into my deck. I'm not going to race them with damage. I have to control them. And I am going to Chalice now. I didn't attack with Giver because protecting Wall of Omens, if they do somehow attack with a Prime Time this turn, protecting Wall of Omens will absorb 4 damage. Definitely worth doing. Tireless Tracker. Rough. Cave of the Frost Dragon. So this will come into play tapped. That isn't a big deal this turn. Is Scry 2 or Draw 1 better here? Probably Scry 2. So it's pretty close. Yeah, I'm going to Scry 2. I'm looking for specific things against this deck. Archon can count as one of them. They're going to get a bunch of cards off the Tireless Tracker, but I'm not endangered to the damage from it because of Giver plus a creature. Next turn I can cast Archon and put in Ghost Quarter. They have Growth Chamber. Makes a clue right away. Picking up Crumbling Vestige. Crumbling Vestige is sweet tech for this deck. Blocks Diamond. They have 4 mana right now. It's enough to draw 2 cards off clues, which is lucky because that's the number that they have. They made black mana. They have Engineered Explosives on 2. Just obliterate my board. Dismember. Okay. You give Wall of Omens pro green in response. Strong. You're just attacking anyway. Yes, put me to the test. I remembered to block with my green creature. My pro green creature. You did it. Pretty proud of that play, honestly. Caught it. Okay, play Ghost Quarter. Play Archon, leaving up Ghost Quarter. Now I am suddenly worried about Tracker, though. That is a real creature that is attacking for real damage. If I Ghost Quarter my opponent now, then they might still be able to Prime Time next turn. Yeah, I'm just going to hold my Ghost Quarter to be more surgical about it. And perhaps someday I'll draw a Solitude. God, Solitude's so good. That's the whole reason to be this deck. The Legacy version, too. Just that really entirely changed how the deck functions. Yuck. Well, that's your spell for the turn. Valakut has 5 other mountains, so even if they go land here, Valakut's not active yet. Growth Chamber. This Tracker is out of control. They have Crumbling Vestige in their hand. How about that one? I think I'm just going to take 6 from this Tracker and hope for a relevant draw. Yeah, it's not time to block that yet. I have more cards to draw. I didn't crack the extra clue. Interesting. What are they doing with that mana? Cathara Commando. That's not bad. I can destroy target artifact or enchantment. So I could take out the amulet now. I could take out Dryad Arbor as an or Dryad of the Elysian Grove as an instant. Which is regrettable because I really want to get Yorion in my hand this turn. Okay. I'm putting Yorion in my hand and just betting on Archon and Ghost Quarter to keep to hold the fort for a turn. They can put Tracker up to 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't think they can attack for 12 with Tracker next turn. At least I hope not. Because I'm not ready to block it. Evil Titan. Yeah, that's bad. Wish I could kill Dryad of the Elysian Grove as an instant. Okay, I'm going to Ghost Quarter the Valakut. They didn't get 2 of them, which is nice. They get to search up a basic here. And they still have Crumbling Vestige in their hand that can give the Primetime haste. Alright, I'm dead. I could have held up Cathar. Maybe I'm supposed to there. In fact, almost certainly supposed to. But they still get to attack with Primeval Titan that turn. Like, do you just take out Amulet? I don't know. This felt pretty horrendous. Solitude lines up really well. But like we saw in Game 1, you need more than that. Like, Solitude's not going to win the game on its own. Amulet is so fucked. This deck is so cool. Always has been. Like, they keep banning cards out of it. The meta keeps changing, but Amulet finds a way. It's just insanely powerful deck. I'm on the draw in round 4 against a Kahira deck. Kahira can be just like creatureless blue-white control, or it could actually be elemental tribal, and there's a large spectrum in between. I'm going to keep this quick Stoneforge hand. Elementals is one of the decks I was worried about in theory. It just seems like it goes so much bigger than what this deck's capable of, and in a way that's pretty hard to control. That doesn't tell me either way which one they're on. If we were playing Legacy, I would wasteland the shit out of that, but Ghost Quarter is a different card. And the deck certainly has basics in it one way or the other. I'm looking forward to casting Field of Ruin, though. Or playing Field of Ruin. You don't cast lands. If we see green mana anywhere, we're going to know that they're an Omnath deck. The blue-white with a little red splash for Prismatic Ending or whatever doesn't necessarily tell us anything. DQ, Stoneforge. It's fun having the Cauldron in my hand already, because if this Stoneforge resolves, I can search up something different, and then you put one idea in their head, but you have something different. The classic. Already had Batterskull Juke. I think I want Sword of Fire and Ice. If they're blue-white, I'd rather have Batterskull. But if they're elementals, I'd rather have Sophie. Mystic Gate, that's looking kind of blue-white to me. Spreading Seas. Harsh. Okay. Whatever. I have lots of access to white mana. Archon of Emeria. Is that worth putting into play? Probably not. But I'm going to Horizon Canopy this turn, and I could Charming Prince, Flicker Stoneforge to keep the card advantage train rolling. I could just get in with Cauldron now and make them deal with that. I kind of like that. They could have a number of things like Path to Exile, or just take 5 and Prismatic Ending. They can evoke Solitude. They could take control of my Germ next turn with Archmage Charm, but I have Flickerwisp to get the Cauldron back. I kind of like putting them on the back foot, like make them have it. This is looking like blue-white now. They would have fetched a Grand Land if this was an Omnath deck. Yeah, for sure. Teferi. Okay, yeah, Teferi can bounce the Germ. Sure. Stoneforge can attack Teferi, finish it off. If I draw a white source, I can get Cauldron back in the game immediately. If I don't, I'll have to take a turn off. Field of Ruining. Okay, cool. Let's attack Teferi. Don't really want to play a game where that's involved. Then I can just cast Flickerwisp, get Cauldron back in the mix. I can Field of Ruin them, and then cast a 2-drop. I think I actually like that. So Field of Ruin. Am I more worried about the red source or the selection off Castle Vantress? I think the selection off Castle is worse for me. Long term, this game's going to take a long time. And then Charming Prince can flicker Stoneforge. And then I get more card advantage. Just digging in for a crazy long game here. Now I want Batterskull, now that I know exactly what they're up to. They're up to 5 mana, which is the Danger Zone. That's Hardcast Solitude. Oh, Vial is a hot one. I'm going to make my land drop. I'm going to play Vial to start. And then I'm just going to pass the turn. If they're not spending mana, like I can do multiple things at instant speed. I'm not in a rush. This is what I was talking about earlier in the video about you don't need Vial on turn 1 because the games are going to go forever. Solitude. I'm going to put in Batterskull here. Stoneforge is gone. That's fine. Another Teferi. You got it. Oh, I was supposed to flash in Cathar in response to that. Whoops. Okay, Germ is in my hand. I can equip Batterskull and attack. They didn't attack. Right, I'm not going to draw a card. Forgot to flash in Cathar. Should have an extra 3/1 in play. Whoops. Another Cathar. Okay, I can equip Batterskull and attack. That gets blown out by any removal spell. And I don't get to do anything else this turn. I could play Cathar and Flickerwisp, but that gives them an unmolested Teferi. An Ephemerate blows me out. Does blue-white play Ephemerate? I don't even know for that. I'm not seeing Ephemerate in stock lists. Thanks, MTG Goldfish. They do have Counterspell, though. I'm gonna suit up and bash Teferi here. I'm gonna try not to cast spells. Like, they have so many counterspells in their deck. Okay, they evoked the second Solitude. Pitching Supreme Verdict. Okay, wow. They put a high value on this happening. Sure. Okay. Next turn, Vial goes up to 2. And then there's more options available. Prismatic Ending here would be a huge bummer. Or Archmage Charm to steal it. Big Teferi, also a bummer. And going straight into drawing extra cards mode. Usually the right mode. All of the Storm Giant. That gets ward once it's a creature, but I can GQ it if they try to turn it on. Vial goes up to 2 here. Got some activity there now. My own Solitude. My very own. I can cast Sword of Fire and Ice into their very obvious counterspell. Don't think that's the play. I'm going to cast Archon of Emeria. Oh, that just went into play like they're F6'd. That was crazy. I'm leaving up Ghost Quarter in case they fire up one of these creature lands. I'm going to Violent Cathar Commando and block Solitude. I'm not convinced that this 3/1 creature is getting much better than this. Supreme V. Okay. Alright. Guess I did sort of force the action on that. Yeah, that's gone. This Teferi is going to be really hard to keep up with. The big one, specifically. I mean, the little one sucks too, but the big one is the real problem here. Kinda like to draw a land. Did it. That lets me play Cathar Commando and put Yorion in hand and hold up Flickerwisp. Yorion's coming into the hand. I continue bleeding out to my pain lands here. It's not so bad, really. Somehow I'm still at 17. Probably because they solituded multiple things. Plus Big Teferi. I have to flicker in their main phase. That way I get Kaldra back in their end step where it can attack on my turn. Luckily, acting in their main phase barely matters because they plus Teferi, and they could do anything that they would want to do any other time. Kaldra's exiled in the main phase. Back in the end step. Picks up a weapon. Then we go to my turn. Put Vial in the awkward zone. There's not any 4-drops, but once it gets up to 5, things get really interesting. I play my land for turn. 1, 2, 3. Sword of Fire and Ice. Yep, counterspell. No surprise there. Time for some attacks. I'm gonna steal my Kaldra before combat. That would be a bummer. Is the play. Have that. Attack small Teferi with the creature that can attack. Small Teferi's cleared. We'll take those W's where we can get them. Big Teferi is 1 turn away from annihilation. Good news is I think I have enough mana that I can start drawing cards off these Horizon Canopies. Shocked and Steam Vents. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have like 10 mana. Okay, that's a creature. They're holding up Cryptic Command. That's what's going on over there. I'm going to take 5. I can afford it. In step, I'm going to draw a card. Stoneforge, okay. Worse cards exist than Stoneforge Mystic. Okay, so I can Vial in Yorion as needed. They can fire up their 7/7. Alright, I'm going to attack Douchebag Teferi with my Flickerwisp. I can flicker Kaldra with Yorion because I still own and control Kaldra. It's just equipped to a creature I don't control. Teferi took the beats there. I like that. I can cast Stoneforge Mystic. I can also cast Aether Vial. I could cast nothing. All of these are options. Cast Vial. I'll start there. See if they want to fight over that. They do not. Stoneforge Mystic. They do want to counter that. Alright, deal. Vial in Yorion. This is a pretty big Yorion. It gets to reset both of my living weapons, and Flickerwisp can flicker Yorion when it comes back in, and I get like the alternating creature loop. Those 3 permanents are out. Cathar's already untapped. There's no reason to not do that. Well, there's kind of an interesting thing here. I could flicker Teferi, and then they won't get Teferi for 2 turn cycles. It'll come back in at 4 loyalty on my next turn, where flickering Yorion keeps this loop going. Yeah, I'm going to go after Yorion, actually. Yorion's in exile. Blessing Teferi, of course. I mean, Supreme Verdict is good here. It doesn't clear Cauldra. It does reset the Batterskull, but I have Yorion coming back in to reset all of it. And if they do Supreme Verdict, Cathar Commando will take out Spreading Seas on the way through. All of the Storm Giants. Okay, 7/7 Blue Giant. Still a land. They have to answer Cauldra before they can do anything with this. This has First Strike and exile anything it damages. Prismatic Ending by Flickerwisp. Okay. That does nothing for this Hall of Storm Giants that's currently activated for some reason. It does keep the Yorion loop from going completely bananas, but they're gonna just like awkwardly not attack and then pass the turn with this Storm Giant Hall that they sunk 6 mana into. Unless they have Pitch Solitude right now. Or just don't know the words on Cauldra. Yeah, okay. I thought so. Okay. I'm not actually going to flicker anything with Yorion now that Flickerwisp is gone. Just going to sort of hang out. Nah, I'm good. I don't want to reset my vial or anything. I can draw a card with Horizon Canopy, though. This is just a bunch of attackers that can ram into their 3 available mana. I bet they wish they had 10 mana instead. Giver, okay. I'm going to declare some attacks. 5, 9, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right, the attack's not lethal, so I should put some energy into killing Teferi. 7 damage kills Teferi either way, so I should put 5 on them. Okay, they appear to have nothing. Teferi's in the graveyard. Wow. Not sure what happened that turn cycle, but here we are. How long's that Teferi been in play? Like 6, 7 turns? And now it's gone and I'm ahead? Like, Supreme Verdict can set me back quite a ways. Like, they have stuff. They're not dead. It's just like, I was not expecting any of that to actually... I was not expecting the game to get this far at all. So they... Prismatic Ending my first germ. Teferi... See what that wants to do. Bounces my other germ. You got it. Oh, I should have picked up Batterskull in response and fizzled their card draw. That was bad. Or maybe I want Batterskull in play. Oh no, I only... Yeah, I can't replay Batterskull anyway. I should have done that. They have a card in their hand that they are not necessarily entitled to. Giver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana available. Cost 6 to activate the Storm Hall. I'm gonna send stuff. Cryptic Command. Okay, I'm gonna send nobody anywhere, because that's how Cryptic Command works. Got me. Do I want to wait a turn on Teferi or just Apparition it now? I guess I'll Apparition it now. That makes Supreme Verdict better, which is already one of their better draws. But I don't really want to play with this card in play. Next turn, Flickerwisp and Solitude are on. I guess if I don't cast this, I can pay the ward on Hall of Storm Giants. So I don't think firing up their creature land and attacking twice is really the play here. Memory Deluge might be the play. That's the sort of thing that takes over these late games. This is still game 1, by the way. Feel like I've been playing this match for 2.5 hours. Dramatic Ending on my dear sweet mother. Alright, yeah, she's dead. The first vial stays on 5. Second vial goes to 3. My whole hand can now get vialed in. Another vial. Alright, let's move to combat. See if they have another trick. We're just spinning the wheels with Cryptic Commands at this point. Facing my Yorion. Oh, nice. I can fizzle a card draw here and get Yorion back into the loop. Wisp. Target Yorion. Get my permanents looping again. Do not draw a card. Back for 5. I can even run out this third Aether Vial, and I still have the 3 mana up to pay the ward on Hall of Storm Giants if I want to Solitude it. Alright, they're drawing 2 cards with Archmage Charm. That makes sense. I was like, wow, are you countering this third vial? But no, they were not. Okay, Yorion. Do some work here, fella. Gonna exile Wisp, Apparition, Cauldra, and Batterskull. Alright, they're scooping it up to that. Nice. Yeah, that engine was serious in the late game. Vial on 5, not a joke. In Legacy, we have Caracas to really set that late game engine off, but Flickerwisp does a nice impression. All right, that was pretty exciting. I don't appear to have a sideboard at all for this matchup. Like, Chalice of the Void could take off some spells in their deck, but I don't care that much. I'm looking at the stock list right now, and like Chalice on 2 hits like Counterspell, Fire Ice, and Spreading Seas. Yeah, that's not even good. And it's at the expense of all my 2-drops. It's not like I get to ignore the card. They don't really have anything that gets Void Mirrored. Does Rest in Peace do anything? They have Memory Deluge, but really that's it. Yeah, I just don't sideboard here. We're going back in. Drannith Magistrate and Rest in Peace both answer the Memory Deluge, but I think that looping Yorion in the end game is really the win condition here. My hand's dope. I'm going to keep it. I'm even several minutes ahead on the clock. That game 1 went really well for me in every conceivable way. They have to win 2 games now in 8.5 minutes. Giver or Esper Sentinel? I think it's Esper Sentinel. This just puts attacks on the whole game that I'm really interested in. Giver, they can answer cleanly. Like if they Spreading Seas me right now, I'm going to draw a card. An ending would have answered either one of them. Okay. I've been ended. Alright, I can, I was about to say I can sneak my shitty tap land in, but Ephemerate is pretty nice. I'm going to play Giver and protect it with Ephemerate if they try to remove it. The 3 life isn't a huge deal to sneak this into play tapped or not, whatever. They have land go, it seems. Ganjo Castle. I could play Emeria tapped now. I could put Yorion in my hand. Yeah, I'm just gonna invest in the future right now. Yorion in my hand. My opponent just said in the chat, fuck, sorry, gonna have to go. My roommate just flooded the kitchen and I have to go deal with him, LOL. So, I mean, I don't think this deck is capable of winning 2 games in 7 minutes anyway, but yeah, it looks like our game's going to be cut short because my opponent has a flooded kitchen. We take our wins where we can get them. I'm on the play in the final round, trying to lock that positive record. I'm in for this hand. It's got a white source, multiple Esper Sentinels. Let's do the damn thing. Just hope we're not playing against Burn, because my only colored source is a Horizon land. City of Brass. What deck plays that? Is it Dredge? Yep. Okay. We gotta beat Dredge. Otherworldly Gaze is dope. Creeping Chill me, straight up. Bang. Alright, I hope this Thalia plays here. Looks pretty good. Anything to slow Dredge down is good. Yeah, they're not going to be able to flash this back on turn 2. They do have the Stinkweed Imp in the bin. The dredging has begun. 2 Narcomoebas on the first hit. Oh shit, they dredged up a Dark Blast. That one's going to be tough. Casting the 3rd Narcomoeba. Alright, who's the creature deck now? Cave of the Frost Dragon. You fucker. There it is. I think I gotta go in on my 1-drops here. And Cave. Thalia gets to attack. I prioritized the Giver over Archon because... Oh yeah, that was a really smart triple block. I'm a dummy. Oh, I can Solitude the 3rd one. Get fucked. Okay. There we go. Got pretty lucky there. I almost threw that away. But Thalia is pretty important here. Yeah, with them having Dark Blast in their graveyard, I really wanted to get Giver online. They get to spend a turn answering probably Thalia. Oh god, they milled over 2 Oxen. Okay, so I get to draw 2 cards here. Then they discard 2, draw 3. We know there's a Stinkweed Imp among them. There's a Grave Troll also. They milled a 2nd Imp, Creeping Chill, and the 4th Narcomoeba. Alright, they have Oxes in their graveyard right now. They're going to Ox me some really difficult questions in near turns. Stoneforge Mystic. That's a good card. Does this deck have a single basic land in it? Is my question. Okay. Stoneforge Mystic. Yes. I think I want something that's going to gain me life. Is it just Batterskull? Might just be Batterskull. And then Probably want to Ghost Quarter them. Oh, they've gained a bunch of life. Does that matter? I'm going to attack with Thalia. Okay, is having more mana in play important, or is trying to cheese them with GQ more important? And I think having mana is going to be important. The Dark Blast is in their hand. They don't really have blocks here. I have to go to 7. There are 2 Creeping Chills still in the deck. Could definitely just lose here. Conflagrate. I don't know if the current iterations of Dredge play Conflagrate, but it's a powerful card if they do. Like we're getting Oxed. Yeah, there's Ox. Triggers another Prized Amalgam. There's Creeping Chill. There's both Creeping Chills. I'm at 1. All right. Or was it just 1? I thought I saw both. Silver Smoke, cool. Oh, right. Creeping Chill triggers that. That's how this works. I'm going to draw a card with Horizon Canopy because I don't think I'm going to tap that for mana ever again. Not with being dead to Creeping Chill. Ghost Quarter. Second Giver. Do I zap off the Ghost Quarter or do I just wait? I don't see a basic anywhere. I'd be surprised if they had one. The Bloodghasts are active AF right now. I am going to Ghost Quarter and just try my best to limit their options. Though they don't really need many options at this point. I need Batterskull to save me. No basic confirmed. Oh wow, if they hit their Creeping Chill, Narcomoeba's just lethal. I have no flying blocker. Alright, looks like we dodged there. At least for now, there's only 6 cards left in their deck. And there's an Ox. I guess if they Ox, they lose. So there's Dark Blast, which is Dredge 3. Imp's Dredge 5. Thug is Dredge 4. So they could draw 1. Like if they Ox, they could draw 1 twice and then Dredge 4. Okay. Can't interact with this flyer. I'm at 3. I'm gonna put in Batterskull. Try to gain some life. Castle Ardenvale. Okay, Batterskull. Do what you gotta do here. Its job is to gain life. They could double block it and kill it, and I take down a Prized Amalgam with me. I think that's okay. They're chumping with Ghoul. Oh, they can sack Ghoul to draw a card and fizzle the life gain. Smart. Probably should have given this thing pro-black before it attacked. They're Dark Blasting. Okay. They could have done this without Dark Blasting, but instead I'm going to draw 2 cards. Unfortunately, I can't give this pro-black. That would be sick. Okay. I think I'm going to Ghost Quarter the Blackleaf Cliffs and then cast Archon of Emeria. Wow, they scooped. They must have had the chill in their hand. Grindy, baby. All right, we took a game 1 from Dredge that I didn't think we were going to get. Now this massive pile of graveyard hate comes in. Strandeth Magistrate turns off Ox, and the rest of the cards turn off the entire graveyard. Void Mirror, not interested. Chalice, not interested. Okay, what's not good here? I think Maul of the Skyclaves can go. Solitude seems fine. Flickerwisp seems kind of medium. Thalia was insane. Charming Prince. Alright, Cathar Commando can go. Vial seems a little slow for the matchup, but if I land a hate piece, it doesn't matter. Solitude is excellent. Sophie doesn't line up against anything they're doing. Archon's good. Wall of Omens is really good against their 3-power aggro deck. Skyclave Apparition is fine, but not insane. I think I want all my low-cost stuff, and just like the medium and high-cost stuff can get trimmed. All right, maybe I don't need all my Aether Vials, because they are a dead draw in the mid-game. Like I said in previous matchups that a mid-game Aether Vial is fine in this deck, but Dredge changes the math on that quite a bit. Maybe I want to be just less Aether Vial, more removal anyway, like Skyclave Apparition out, in, Vial out. The one Aether Vial deck. Yeah, whatever. I'm in for it. This Vial's going to be in my opener. Just wait. The Vial's not in this opener, but neither are any lands, so we get another look at it. All again. Oh, there's the Vial. Snap it off. JK. No lands again. Wow, really? There is a land in this one. Going to 4, I guess. All right. I'll keep this 4 because it is at least somewhat functional. 2, 3, 4. Okay, well that sucked. We did get a look at the Aether Vial, which is all that matters. Moral victory. Ephemerate, okay. And they showed me 4 Dark Blasts in their deck. Or at least, I think I saw 3. But that card doesn't tap for black, so we'll see what they got. If anything can save me from this mull to 4, it's Esper Sentinel. They can Dark Blast and pay the Troll Toll here. That does not appear to be what's going on. Cathartic Reunion. Discarding 1 Dredger. Right, there's Sanctifier. If I can find my second white source here, we get to go to town. That was not a good dredge. Alright, deck, white source, off the top. Show it to me. Bummer. Alright, second Sentinel, go. I really need to just dig into the second land here. Falls to 4. Suck. Just saying. They pass the turn. They really got nothing going on, or they just don't want to let me draw 2. I'm gonna attack with my 2 Gobos. If they Dark Blast 1, they can't pay for the toll on both, and I can flicker the one that they went after. So Ephemerate is protecting my squad here. Alright, that's exactly what I said. Okay, so I get to draw a card here, and Ephemerate the one they're coming after. Dark Blast fizzles. That is a Dredger in the graveyard now. Still haven't found the land. They hit a Chill, and another Dark Blast. Land plays, maybe? I am not gonna flicker Ephemerate. Jesus. At least that's a card I can cast. But we are 10 cards into my deck now. 30 mana sources, only have 1. The Dark Blast land is going to get pretty bad against this Giver starting next turn. But I get to draw another card on the way out here. Alright, they did that in my main phase, so I do get to make a land drop still. I don't know if that was a misclick or if there's a reason for that, but I found a second land. Not the one I'm looking for, but I do get to Thalia with it, at least. And they should Dark Blast now before my Giver's online. Okay, those 2 Esper Sentinels did the Lord's work there. Charming Prince. I can Thalia or I can Charming Prince. I think it's kind of close. No, Dark Blast is, but I have Giver. Yeah, it's Charming Prince. I need to scry 2. I think this game ends as soon as I find the second white source. Like, please. Okay. Top. Lands, let's go. It's got to survive 1 turn here. They dredge a Narcomoeba, I'm actually in trouble. Oh shit, they found Ox right now. Are you shitting me? Okay, so they get to Ox, dredge, Infinity, Fuckzillion, get their prized amalgams back. Suddenly this game's going to be really hard when it was about to be very easy. Reaping Chill. Alright, that was actually a pretty bad Ox. It's going to miss the prized amalgam at Mildover. It gets the 2 that were already there. But my Sanctifier will show up and clip the next one. Jeez. Let's see if that's too late. I have 2 creatures that have protection from their creatures, so they are netting damage for free when they attack right now. I guess I could double block Ox and start working through their creatures that way. Yeah, I think double blocks make more sense than slowly absorbing damage. Do I care about Charming Prince? I could just, like, let damage happen. Alright, I'm gonna let damage happen. I don't think I care about Charming Prince. Like, not compared to what if they have Prismatic Ending for my Sanctifier. Like, that's much worse. Ghost Quarter. Hit their black source. They still don't have a basic. Stoneforge Mystic. Gets Batterskull, which should shut this game down. I can take 3, go to 5 this turn. Batterskull comes into play next turn, and then we're done. I wouldn't have faulted anyone who played Skyclave Apparition that turn instead of doing what I did, but I think screwing them off mana is nice here, because they don't have any basics. They haven't hit a land drop in several turns. And the mull to 4 got it done. Rayan 2, a positive record for this Yorion Taxes deck in Modern. We beat all the decks that wanted to engage fairly, and we beat one deck that wanted to engage unfairly as well, but it was susceptible to hate and the type of squeeze we were putting on it. We lost spectacularly to the decks that just went way over the top. Like, that Amulet matchup felt horrible, not even close. And I'm brain farting on what our other loss was, but I feel like it was another deck that went over the top and didn't really want to engage on the axis we're engaging on. So if you have a fair metagame, this deck's actually really, really good. If you have an unfair metagame, make sure you have a plan for it. Like these 3 Kataki War's Wages in the sideboard, I'm not sure if that could be something that targets Amulet more specifically. I don't know what that would be necessarily either. But like that's the sort of thing, like Void Mirror, if your metagame doesn't have Tron in it. Oh, Cascade, that was the other thing. Even with the pile of sideboard cards I brought in against Cascade and drew 3 or 4 of them, they still just shithoused me. Yeah, I don't think you can cut Void Mirror now that I'm remembering the Cascade matchup. All the Cascade cards seem really important because that matchup seems bad and that deck's really popular. Amulet, I'm not sure what you could do about that. Like, you have all this land destruction. It's just, like, not really that good. I guess something like Aven Mind Sensor or the cat version, Leonin Arbiter, something like that. Arbiter is pretty awkward with Stoneforge Mystic, so maybe you can't play Arbiter, but you could sideboard, instead of these Katakis, some, like, Search Stifler. There's a number of them that exist, and your mileage may vary, but maybe try that out if Amulet is something that's got you down. Cave of the Frost Dragon, it got activated as a creature once. They iced it in response, which I'm not going to hold against the Cave because it would have been good there if they didn't have the spell. And it also cost us a game because it came into play tapped. And I think that no matter how much utility you get out of it in other games, I think that ETB tapped when this deck is frequently hungry for mana, I think that that's disqualifying. I would not play this card. Find maybe like just some more basic planes, or I guess we're already maxed out on Fields and Ghost Quarters. Maybe a couple more Horizon lands. I don't know. I think that this card is not what the deck is trying to do, and it came up like I eyeballed it in theory on the deck list without playing a match, and then there was a clutch turn where ripping land number 5 was life and death, and it was this. And even outside of the one time where it actually happened, there were several points where we were sort of life and death, rip the land or not. We played on pretty low resources a lot, which means that you need to know how to mulligan with the deck. There's 28 lands, the 2 MDFC lands, and then 4 vials. So there's 30 mana sources, 4, 8, effectively 9, 10, 11 of them are not reliable colored sources. Yeah, I would just have more basic planes or find some techie lands, like play some more Horizon lands or something in this Cave of the Frost Dragon spot. I don't like it. I think it comes at too big of a cost. Everything else felt pretty good, though. The Amulet matchup felt bad and Cave of the Frost Dragon felt bad, but the rest of the stuff, all these cards have roles. I like it. I miss the hell out of Recruiter of the Guard, but that card has not been printed into Modern. That would really set this deck off, and Imperial Recruiter is in Modern, and I do have a 80 card red-white Yorion deck that also has Kiki Jiki combo just slammed into it. Also on the channel if you want to check that out for a little extra spice. The reliability in mono white is nice. There's other ways to build this deck. If you want to check that out, that is available. So Robert, thank you for having me play this deck. I hope my feedback is helpful. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the Patreon, check out the merch. All that stuff is there. And I'll see you for the next video.